Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we're here with you for this week's Variety Hour.
Act 92, because I've lost track. This week, we're going to be smoking Romeo, and I believe it's Julieta cigars? Julieta? I don't know. These are Romeo Robustos. Now, we have a viewer on our channel who's a cigar aficionado, Romeo Rory. He suggested this brand. I believe he wanted us to get a Toro.
Yeah, I believe so.
But my cigar shop didn't carry these, so these were the closest I could find. This is Romeo Robusto. Wonderful. Wonderful cigar so far.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
These are high quality.
Well, I had a bad week, so I figured we should smoke something decent.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Let me escape this subject as daintily as I can.
If there's one thing about you, it is daint.
Thank you. I've got my teacup and everything. You're welcome. We didn't post anything last week. I had a bit of a run-in at work, and I can't say much about it, but I've said in the past that I do work in law enforcement. And sometimes in that field, you are exposed to some nasty shit. And it's inevitable in order to keep yourself and other people safe. And yeah, that's about all. Medically, I was indisposed. So far, everything's good. I'm not going to die. So that's a good thing. Yet, although the subscriptions may have just skyrocketed if I would have. So maybe we should do like a rest in peace Dalton.
Be a John Green novel on the channel.
A John Green novel.
Looking for Dalton.
You monster. Thank you for plugging Looking for Alaska, our book review of this week. More importantly, Adrian, what have you been reading? What have you been writing?
Well, we talked last time on the Variety Hour about having goals, and I've stuck to my goals for completing a poem every day in 500 words writing at least. I've gone over that most of the time. Here's the thing about writing a poem a day, is that they're not good, but they force you to wrestle with what is the necessity of a poem.
Okay.
What is that which makes a poem? And picked up a little bit of Bukowski to help rekindle an idea of what poetry is. So I've dug into that just a little bit. I am almost done with a short story this month. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with it. So,
as is the case with every short story I've ever written.
Yeah, and I think that should at least partially be the case until you get to a certain point of the story. What about yourself?
As always, my writing has slacked. I have literally done nothing this week. I have sat at home and moped.
Wrote your will?
And I've considered writing my Adrian Gets It All. Oh, you're going to be disappointed.
A lot of tea.
A lot of tea. But,
Teabag Dalton.
I have been reading Babel No More. I've got it on my nightstand. It was featured in one of our videos, or will be featured tomorrow. I have finished A Movable Feast by Hemingway, and whew, if there is a book to better capture, I don't know how to say this, the lost generation, the bohemian spirit of France at that time, that's it. From just walking the streets of Paris, that is the next best step right there.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Our review of the week next week will be Fight Club. I should probably say that I've also been reading that. Every time I read Fight Club, it changes my life. There's literally something in there that, and I'll probably say this again next week during the review, so spoilers, but what's the funniest movie of all time in your opinion? Funniest movie you've ever seen, in your humor?
That puts me on the spot. Thank you.
What did you laugh the most at? I mean, just
recently. This is it called that? This Is the End?
Oh, okay. So we've got different senses of humor.
Yes, we do.
But honestly, mine is closer to that than my true sense of humor. I love Mel Brooks.
Okay.
But to me, the funniest movie of all time is and probably will always remain Tropic Thunder. I had to see that movie in the theater 3 times to catch all the jokes, because from the booty sweat, I believe that's the first video that pops up when it starts playing, right?
I think so.
And then it goes into the movie previews. From that moment on, I was laughing so hard, I missed so many jokes. Fight Club is a similar experience in that there are so many quotes in the book where you read that and then your eyes glaze over the next 2-3 paragraphs while you're digesting something incredibly dense that just was shown to you or said to you or told to you. And so you miss so much. So in the very same breath, or in the very same way that I had to watch Tropic Thunder 3 times to actually see the movie, this is my 4th time, I believe, reading Fight Club. It's the first time I'm digesting everything that happened.
Okay. We can talk for weeks about Mel Brooks. I love Mel Brooks. But Fight Club, I've read 1 time. Actually read it on a flight in 1 setting.
What is it with you, Polinick and planes?
That seems to be my thing. I went through a Polinick phase then, because I think that was like when I first got away from you. And I'm like, Adrian's watching. Like he's somewhere here.
Where is he?
I'm just going to pull out my Polinick book and just pretend.
Because if there's anything we know, it's that to Dalton, I am both Tyler Durden and God.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah.
Your father is your model for God. If your father does not like you, we have to deal with the very real, I don't even remember what it says, the very real possibility that God does not like you. That's from Fight Club.
It is. I am excited for Fight Club. That'll be a good time. Talking fights, political season here in the United States. I love politics. And what a shitstorm we have brewed up for America this year. This is incredible. Are you following anything on politic-wise besides the fact that Donald Trump could very well be our next president?
I thought that was a joke for so long. Here's the thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump does not appeal to the lowest common denominator. Donald Trump is the lowest common denominator. In a 24-hour news cycle that makes people have their television on at all hours of the day, and that television is populated with shows like Family Guy, it's no wonder that people can't take their eyes off Donald Trump, and that confuses them into believing they agree with Donald Trump, right? Who hasn't memorized one-liners and zingers from Family Guy? So people are memorizing one-liners and zingers from Donald Trump, and they're internalizing it. I don't know.
It blows my mind. I've discussed this with a lot of people, and not to sound rude, but a lot of people who are lower on the educational scale.
That's rude.
No. A lot of people who are heavily conservative in their beliefs, which is a great thing, they love Donald Trump.
I don't understand that.
And I point out the fact like he is absolutely a racist and a bigot, and they're like, yeah, we need that.
Well, people are scared, and I can understand people being afraid. This terrorism thing is so out of hand, and people don't know who to blame. People don't know where to point the finger. People don't know what the answer is. And it comes across in, like I said earlier, they internalize this fear, and they use it as motivation.
All right.
Here's the thing I don't understand about conservatives liking Donald Trump. Donald Trump was born rich, gambled with someone else's money and lost. 3 times, I believe? He is not a good businessman.
No.
He's, hey, I won't say he's not a good businessman. He can make money. He knows how to make money. He knows how to lose it very well as well. And he knows how to use the unfair advantages that the government hands to rich people in order to better himself.
One of the biggest arguments that I always hear for him is, well, he's not a politician. He speaks his mind.
which I can get behind that. But when your mind is so futile, when you are so stupid, that does not become a strength.
There was I think it was a Facebook meme or something. I hate to quote it on here, but it basically pointed out, you know who else speaks their mind? My drunk uncle. I'm not going to elect him as president.
I'm very honest. I'm not president material.
No. No. But you know who is president material, in my humble opinion, and disagree with me if you want? Bernie Sanders.
How humble is that opinion, Dalton?
How are we not, just overwhelmingly electing this man?
Doesn't sound like a very humble opinion.
How are we not? This is a man who, since the beginning of his career, has supported the same things.
Mm-hmm. Which, in and of itself, is not necessarily a strength.
It's not a strength, but
when you're right, you're right.
He has supported things that we as a nation should wholeheartedly get behind. We should focus on us. We should focus on people and taking care of people, because people are inherently people. And they shouldn't be treated like trash because of their race, religions, beliefs, whatever. Very liberal, I would say. And it seems like the rest of the civilized world has gotten behind this. And yet America has to they're still holding back on that. Still holding back.
And that's confusing. The standard of living is not all that it might be in the richest, I think it's the greatest country in the history of the world. It is almost without question, I believe, if you're looking at things historically and you're trading currencies, the richest country in the history of the world. And take myself for example. And I'm not meaning this as a pity party. Right now, I'm in a position where I can't necessarily afford the health insurance thing. I'm going to get fined for it now. So I don't have health insurance. Say I'm pulling out here and someone else without car insurance, boom, T-bones me, right? And I, for example, break my femur. Very expensive.
Oh, yes.
So I break my femur. I'm out of work for 3 weeks. Maybe I lose my job. Lost my truck. I will lose my entire livelihood. I mean, say the guy that hits me, T-bones me, is drunk, right? Lost my entire everything because of a drunk driver. My life is in effect over at that point.
Oh, yes.
Because I can't afford. What is it? A ride to the hospital is like $5,000, isn't it? And that's just if they get you there. That's if you're hitchhiking. That's not including. Hey man, you broke your leg. You're losing lots of blood right now.
We better get some more of that. And it blows my mind that somebody is coming out and saying, "Listen," and I trying not to quote here, but I have watched the debates. But in the richest country in the history of the known world, we have people who are working 40 hours a week and cannot afford to either take care of themselves,
right,
to feed themselves, to take care of their kids. It's insane. And working in a job position that does not pay an extraordinary amount. It's public service. Everybody knows public service does not make what they should make. People still are saying, oh, Trump. Absolutely Trump. This man's crazy. Where is he going to get this money? It's not going to work if you give me more money.
Well, what's the statistic? The United States spends more on the armed forces than the next 9 countries combined, something like that?
It's insane.
Which includes China and Russia, right?
Yes.
I think, isn't it something like 2.5 times Russia's defense budget or something?
It's insane.
Something inordinate. Now, I'm not, hey, look, I'm all for the armed forces, right?
Absolutely.
What I'm saying is, there has to be somewhere in that chain of command that a lot of money is being squandered, perhaps. I think, it's the defense budgets. It's the contracts, I mean. I don't know the numbers to it, so I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to do the research, so I don't feel too comfortable talking about it. But it does not seem, something somewhere's not adding up.
I don't get the mindset and the logic. And it seems like the people that I have talked to about this who do oppose him say, well, I got to work 40 hours a week. Why should I get this handout so I can have a better life when somebody who doesn't work is going to get it too? okay, that's fine, but that person is still a person.
But here's the thing.
And you're saying inherently you need that as well.
What we're doing is we're defining healthcare as a handout instead of something that is inherent to the system.
A human right.
I don't know that I would say a human right, but it is inherent to the system of a successful civilization. This is standard in Europe. This is standard in Europe. We're doing a lot better than a lot of European countries, and we could be doing a whole lot better than a lot of European countries, right?
I think so.
And I'm gonna even go a step further and say, what about NASA? I watch a lot of Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Brilliant man.
Yeah. He makes the point that our very currency system reflects our values as Americans. In that, who's on the $1 bill?
George Washington.
The 5?
Abraham Lincoln.
The 10?
Alexander Hamilton.
The 20?
Thomas Jefferson? No. Who is on?
Jackson.
Jackson. Andrew Jackson.
One of the greatest presidents of all time, in my opinion. Mainly because I've read his biography. But you know who's on currency in other places?
Famous figures, not presidents.
We're not putting Kardashians.
Well, no. I mean, like people.
Scientists.
People who've contributed
Mathematicians.
to society.
Contributed to world society, not to the shaping of America.
I mean, I would be giddy if I could go to a coffee shop and pay with three Tysons, please. 3 Tysons for this coffee.
3 Bill Nyes,
We should petition to have Bill Nye placed on the $3 bill.
That's one of the things I want to do, is start a petition to put scientists and things on money. Like, you can't put Neil deGrasse Tyson and you can't put Bill Nye because they're alive. Okay.
But you could put Carl Sagan on the $5 bill.
You could put Carl Sagan on there. You could put Einstein on there. And you want to say, oh, well, Einstein wasn't born an American. Neither was George Washington.
Point.
Okay. In fact, I think wasn't one of the first presidents. I don't even know that Jackson was born in the United States. The 7th president. Because he was like 12 years old and fought in the Revolutionary War catch this, as a drummer boy. He was a drummer boy. Gets taken as a prisoner of war with his brother. Okay? While they're imprisoned, a British soldier puts his boot up to Jackson and says, hey boy, shine it. And Jackson says, no thanks. And if you pull out a $20 bill, look at Jackson. There between his eyes, there is something that looks like he's furrowing his brow. That is not what it is. It is a scar, because that British soldier popped with his sword right here. Anyway, Jackson, imprisoned with his brother, I think it's his older brother. His brother catches pneumonia, maybe. His mother, who was poor, bails. They are part of a prisoner exchange. His mother goes to pick them up with a mule, I believe. So Jackson has to walk obviously both ways uphill, in the snow, whatever, walks next to his mother and a mule carrying his dying brother. His brother dies. Shortly after, I believe his mother dies. Now, so Jackson had a rough go.
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit of a rough go.
I am not above and beyond glorifying Americana. But does it have to be all presidents?
And, that's the thing. There are a lot of European countries that, in addition to major figures in their society, scientists, mathematicians, artists, national monuments are on the currency because they take pride in their country, not in just their elected officials.
There are also monuments in other countries to their intelligentsia.
Yes.
Right? Is there a Carl Sagan monument somewhere?
There should be.
I think that,
I love Carl Sagan.
Maybe there is, and I'm just ignorant to it.
And does America do certain things right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
I'm not here to be anti-American.
No, absolutely not. Very proud of the country that I come from. But I think there are a lot of things that we could learn from a more, dare I say, liberal Europe. Take, for example, let's talk healthcare again.
Yeah.
I do have health insurance. If I go to the doctor because I have a cough, and the doctor says, here's some cough syrup, it's going to cost me $100.
Yep.
$100 just for an inconvenience. which is 1/10 of my paycheck.
Here is, and I'm willing to bet that after taxes it's more. Here's something that from working retail, specialty retail pharmacy, I have noticed, and it's not a secret in the business. If you were in a lower income area, you have to stock up on cough drops.
Oh yeah.
More than in the higher income areas, because people with higher incomes have better insurance plans. They're going to the doctor. Guys like you and me, I'm not going to the doctor because I got a cold, because I've got the flu. It'll pass.
I will stay home and fight death.
I can't even stay home. I'm going to work.
Before
I don't even have sick days.
I will fight death. And that's another thing, sick days. And just days off for
paternity leave?
Paternity leave. New mothers.
Paternity. New fathers.
New fathers. That's insane that we're not allowing that. In some countries are getting to the point where they give the mother and the father both a full year to bond with the child.
Yeah, that'd be not, like, I don't know that I will make the argument for a full year, because, again, from the retail world, when you're off, someone else has to pick up that slack, right?
But time.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We are constantly moving, we're losing the middle class, right?
Yes.
A lot of that is because Richard Branson has a quote that when you make a business and you want to be successful, you value your people first, your customers second, and your stockholders third. How many companies in the United States value their stockholders third?
None.
Stockholders are first, customers are second. A lot of times your customers are third. And guess who's fourth place? And fourth place doesn't count.
Exactly.
Who's not on the podium? Your employees.
So, and again, if you were from the United States, I know we have a lot of viewers from the UK. Mm-hmm. We've said that before, and I will attempt to just say UK because I still don't understand how that breaks down to what's what because of my American education. America. Let me tell you about Texas. But anyway, if you are in the United States, just go vote.
You mean Texas is another country?
Have you ever been to Texas? It's like
a different country.
It's insane. Go vote. Do some research. And, I mean, honestly, if you think Trump's right, that's the beauty of the American system. You can go out there and say, I think this man is right. He will do the best. I will give him my endorsement.
I strongly believe that. I don't know that we're in that place yet.
I will highly say, and I think we could both agree on this, for our personal endorsements, give Bernie Sanders a look.
Just a look.
He's a little considered, he calls himself a radical. Not really. He seems to be the most
well thought out, but
yes.
In today's political system, thought out and honest makes you radical.
Yes, absolutely. I'm hoping that he continues to do well. I'm hoping that people see that this is a correct move for us, and hopefully we can get to maybe a little better system.
Here's what's going to happen. Donald Trump's going to win the GOP nomination. The GOP is going to say, never mind. We're going with
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. We'll go with Ted Cruz. Hillary's going to win the Democratic nomination. Sanders is going to run anyway. And we're going to go back to the 1800s and have a 4-person race. Ooh, that would be extreme, would it not?
It would be extreme. And that's the thing. If Sanders would consider an independent nomination, I think he might still stand a high chance.
Is it an independent? It wouldn't be an independent nomination, would it?
Or
you'd just be choosing to run.
Yes. Yeah. He is an independent from Vermont. That's his campaign.
Well, he claims he's an independent now. He's just on
the Democratic ticket.
Democrat ticket, yeah.
Because that is the only way to win a nomination in America is to be a Democrat or Republican.
And he very strongly needs a nomination.
And he does need it.
He needs the nomination because he does not have the fund. Like Donald Trump could run on his own.
Yes.
Donald Trump's got the money to run on his own.
But this man, his entire funding is from you and me.
Yeah.
The everyman.
Yeah.
He doesn't take the money from corporate.
I took those bottles back to the store and I sent that 25 cents in.
Exactly.
The ticket and postage was more than I gave him.
But again, he is an independent senator from Vermont. And if you look at his political history, it seems like every election that he won when he first became mayor, when he first became senator, very narrow margins. It's what it's looking like now, so I have hope. But after that, and after he took his place in whatever office it was, people adore that man.
Yeah.
Because he makes the right decisions.
This really is an exquisite cigar.
It is a wonderful cigar. So, Romeo Rory, if you're still watching after our political ramblings, thank you for the suggestion.
How much did they set you back?
10 apiece. They weren't terrible.
Not terrible.
No, absolutely not.
We were working behind the scenes on a cigar tag.
Cigar and whiskey.
Cigar and whiskey tag.
Because that's more manly than tea time tag. Nothing wrong with the tea time tag.
You're loving the tea tag.
I was kind of humored by it, thank you.
So that's one thing we're working on behind the scenes.
Talking about Harry Potter, we're going to do some Harry Potter stuff. Hopefully we're going to do a full, in-depth breakdown, few chapters at a time, Harry Potter session.
Because here's the thing, we've already got a reading schedule set out pretty far in the future, but it has been implored that we do Harry Potter mainly because I'm curmudgeonly. So we'll get around to that.
You muggle.
What is a muggle?
Actually, we're playing. I'm going to try to plug this before we run out of time here. We have been implored to do a best friends tag next week, which we will be doing. And one of the questions is, what house in Hogwarts would you sort your friend into?
I didn't know what that meant when I watched there. I didn't know what it meant when I watched Restrict Concessions video.
I have done so much thought into this. So much. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. Originally, I was thinking Hufflepuff.
I don't know what that means.
Because that is the house that everybody's just like, nah, he's over there. Then I was thinking Ravenclaw because you are an intelligent and well-educated man.
I don't know what that
You're
means.
a Slytherin.
What the hell is that?
You are a Slytherin because if
I
you
am
were,
not a reptile person. I'm not reptilian.
If we picked you up and put you in the Harry Potter universe, you would be so disgruntled and hateful. And
I'm like that now.
You'd be a Slytherin. It's easy as that. So, if you want to hear more about this Harry Potter ranting, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for our upcoming Harry Potter series.
Hit the like button, and also, if you like what we do and you know that we're poor, join our Patreon because we know where you live.
That Patreon link's above. We would greatly appreciate it. We'll bring you more literature and more fine cigar discussion.
And don't forget, we know where you live.